You've been taught from your earliest years that anything worthwhile requires struggle. That real value comes from grinding, forcing, and endless repetition. This programming has infected how you approach manifestation too. You're told to visualize with intensity, chant affirmations 50 times before breakfast, hunt for cosmic signs, and constantly monitor your vibrational state. But here's what nobody questions. If manifestation operates through quantum principles, if it's woven into the fabric of reality itself, why would it demand such exhausting complexity? Why would an elegant universe built on harmony and flow require you to fight for what's already yours? What most people never realize is that manifestation isn't complex at all. It's so effortlessly simple that your thinking mind rejects it outright. Your conditioning screams, if it's this straightforward, it can't possibly work. This single belief is the invisible barrier blocking your quantum breakthrough. Let me dissolve this illusion for you. Picture a smartphone connecting to Wi-Fi. You don't need to rebuild the network infrastructure, plead with the signal to reach you, or frantically repeat passwords until connection happens. You simply enter the correct credentials, and instantly you're connected to information that was always flowing around you. The data stream existed whether you struggled or surrendered. This perfectly mirrors how the quantum field operates. Every possible reality is continuously streaming around you. You're not constructing these realities from nothing. You're not battling to earn them. You're not chasing them down. You're simply connecting to what already is. Here's the paradox. Because you've been conditioned to believe that results require struggle, you miss the elegant simplicity of connection. You keep frantically trying different passwords, never staying still long enough to recognize when you're already logged in. Quantum physics has already revealed this truth. The observer effect demonstrates that reality remains in flux until conscious observation collapses it into form. This means infinite potential surrounds you constantly. Manifestation isn't about wrestling reality into submission. It's about calibrating yourself so precisely that reality has no option but to mirror what you're already being. Most people trap themselves in the cycle of overdoing. They speak affirmations while harboring doubt. They visualize their dreams while drowning in impatience. They take action from a foundation of fear. This creates static that scrambles your signal to the field. The universe isn't confused by this mixed messaging. It simply reflects back exactly what you're transmitting: confusion, uncertainty, emptiness. The issue isn't that manifestation fails. The issue is that people transform something naturally simple into something artificially complicated. Here's a story that will sound familiar. I met a woman who spent 3 years trying to manifest her ideal relationship. She created elaborate vision boards. She performed complex rituals under full moons. She journaled pages of romantic scenarios. She meditated on love every morning and night. Nothing shifted. Why? Because underneath every technique was the vibration of "I'm still alone." The harder she worked, the deeper she reinforced her current reality of separation. Everything changed in one moment when she surrendered the effort. She woke up one morning and decided to live as if love had already found her. She moved through her day radiating the contentment of someone already cherished. She spoke to herself with the tenderness she craved. Within 3 weeks, she met someone who matched her newfound frequency. What transformed wasn't the external world. It was her internal broadcast. She stopped transmitting lack and started embodying fulfillment. This is the secret most teachers won't share, because it seems too elementary to monetize, too effortless to believe. But the field doesn't respond to how hard you work. It responds to how clear you are. Clarity means your thoughts, feelings, and actions point in the same direction. It means no part of your being contradicts another part. When you declare, "I am prosperous," while your chest constricts with financial anxiety, your signal fragments. When you imagine abundance while checking your bank balance with dread, your frequency scatters. But when you embody unity, when you think it, feel it, and live it as current truth, the field calibrates your reality with mathematical precision. Why do people resist this? Because the mind despises what it cannot manipulate. Simplicity strips away the ego's theater. The ego needs to feel productive, accomplished, busy, important. But the universe doesn't reward complication. It responds to coherence, and coherence is always elegantly simple. The irony runs deep. The more you complicate manifestation, the more you postpone it. The more you simplify, the faster it materializes. This exploration will reveal the single principle you need to master quantum manifestation. Your role isn't to force outcomes, but to align with them. Not to pursue realities, but to inhabit them. Once you grasp this simplicity, you'll never again waste energy on methods that keep you cycling in limitation. Stay present, because we're about to explore how simplicity isn't passive waiting. It's the most intelligent frequency available to consciousness. Once you embody this understanding, manifestation will shift from feeling like labor to feeling like natural breathing. Let's dissolve one of the most damaging misunderstandings about quantum manifestation. Simplicity doesn't equal passivity. When people first encounter the idea that manifestation is simple, their programmed mind translates this as, "So you're suggesting I should just recline on my couch, do absolutely nothing, and expect miracles to materialize?" Not at all. Simplicity doesn't mean avoiding action. It means taking inspired action. In quantum mechanics, energy naturally follows paths of minimum resistance. Rivers don't struggle while carving canyons through mountains. Electricity doesn't wrestle with itself while finding circuits. Photons don't hesitate before traveling. Energy flows effortlessly toward openness, harmony, and resonance. You operate by these same principles. Your desires exist as pure energy. They're already encoded within the quantum matrix. The less internal resistance you carry, the clearer your vibrational signature becomes. The faster the field reorganizes to reflect your chosen timeline. Consider how most people pursue their goals. They overthink every detail. They overplan every possibility. They overcontrol every variable. They claim they want love, but then micromanage exactly how it must arrive. This specific type of person, on this exact timeline, under these precise circumstances. They say they want prosperity, but then flood themselves with limiting thoughts. Perhaps I'm not worthy. Perhaps it's too late. Perhaps it won't endure. This isn't simplicity. This is interference. And interference, in quantum terms, creates decoherence. When particles fall out of sync, their wave patterns cancel each other out. The result? Disorder, fragmentation, squandered potential. But when they vibrate in harmony, they amplify each other into a coherent force. This is exactly what alignment feels like in your experience. It's not the absence of movement. It's the precision of movement. Neville Goddard, one of manifestation's most profound teachers, repeatedly emphasized, "You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are." This captures the essence of simplicity. When you already embody the person who possesses what you desire, you no longer need to pursue it. Your vibration naturally draws it into your field. Passivity waits hopefully for external change. Alignment embodies the frequency now, making change inevitable. Here's where the paradox deepens. Often when you achieve true alignment, you actually do less. Not because you're being passive, but because unnecessary struggle dissolves. You stop wasting energy on doubt, micromanagement, or rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You stop fighting the current. You move with it. And because of this, what you want arrives more quickly and with greater ease. Research supports this understanding. Dr. Joe Dispenza's studies demonstrate that when the brain and heart achieve coherence, the body generates an electromagnetic field extending up to 8 feet in radius. This coherent field doesn't just influence your biology. It directly interfaces with the quantum field itself. Participants who achieved coherence experienced biological transformations, accelerated healing, and synchronicities that transcended logical explanation. Simplicity here means that mind, body, and emotions no longer conflict. They broadcast the same signal, speak the same language. When this happens, the field responds. This isn't metaphysical poetry. This is documented physics. So why is this difficult to accept? Because society has programmed you to equate value with effort. You've been conditioned to believe that harder work equals greater worthiness, that struggle equals significance, that results must be earned through sacrifice and sweat. But quantum mechanics doesn't operate this way. The field doesn't measure how much you've suffered. It only reads the clarity of your frequency. And clarity always appears simple. This is why spiritual masters throughout history spoke of surrender, stillness, silence. They weren't advocating passivity. They were teaching resonance. Picture 2 gardeners planting identical seeds. The first digs aggressively, waters compulsively, checks daily progress, constantly disturbs the soil to see if growth is happening, worries obsessively about weather conditions. The second plants mindfully, waters consistently, then trusts nature's intelligence to unfold the process. Which garden flourishes more rapidly? The first gardener's anxiety actually disrupts the natural growth cycle, introducing stress where none belongs. The second aligns with organic rhythms. This mirrors your manifestation process. Simplicity is planting, aligning, and trusting. Passivity would be refusing to plant anything. Misaligned effort is constantly digging up your seeds. True alignment is planting once with complete knowing that harvest is guaranteed. In quantum manifestation, simplicity doesn't mean inaction. It means taking only aligned action, only what resonates, and releasing everything else. It means recognizing that 90% of what you think is necessary is actually resistance masquerading as productivity. Here's what will amaze you. When you simplify, when you release the interference, when you align, the field begins working for you. Suddenly, opportunities emerge without struggle. Synchronicities guide your path. Doors open that force alone could never budge. This is why alignment appears magical to observers. While others exhaust themselves in noise, you're flowing with universal coherence. Let me offer you this truth. Simplicity isn't passivity, it's mastery. It's the art of aligning so purely with your chosen frequency that reality reorganizes to meet you. The universe doesn't notice how exhausted you are or how much you've sacrificed. It only notices how coherent your signal is. And when your signal is simple, clear, and aligned, nothing can prevent the reality you're tuned into from manifesting. When people encounter the word manifestation, Many assume it belongs exclusively to spirituality or mysticism. But manifestation's foundation is actually rooted in the science of coherence. And coherence isn't merely a spiritual concept, it's a fundamental scientific principle. In quantum physics, coherence describes how particles or waves synchronize, moving as one unified system. When particles vibrate harmoniously, they amplify each other's energy and create powerful, predictable results. This is what gives lasers their incredible power. Light waves aligned in perfect coherence can slice through steel, while the same light scattered incoherently becomes nothing more than a weak glow. Now imagine your thoughts, emotions, and physical being as those light waves. If they're scattered, conflicted, or fragmented, the signal you transmit to the quantum field is weak and inconsistent. But when they're aligned, when your mind, heart, and body broadcast identical frequencies, you generate a laser-like field that reality cannot ignore. This isn't theoretical speculation. Neuroscience and psychophysiology have measured the electromagnetic fields humans continuously emit. The HeartMath Institute has extensively studied how the heart generates the body's strongest electromagnetic field, extending several feet outward. When the heart and brain achieve coherence, meaning their rhythms synchronize, the body not only operates more efficiently, but the electromagnetic signal radiating outward becomes stable and powerful. Dr. Joe Dispenza has demonstrated in his workshops that when individuals achieve heart-brain coherence, their brain waves shift into gamma frequencies associated with expanded awareness and enhanced learning, while their bodies frequently show evidence of rapid healing. These discoveries confirm what mystics have always understood. Internal coherence translates to external influence. The more unified your inner state, the more effortlessly your outer world reorganizes around you. But here's the challenge most people face. They live in fragmentation. They think one way, feel another way, and act from programming or fear. For example, someone might think, "I desire abundance," while feeling chronic anxiety about money and taking actions driven by scarcity. This internal incoherence doesn't just confuse their mind, it confuses the field. In quantum mechanics, this resembles trying to collapse two opposing realities simultaneously. Instead of amplifying, the wave patterns cancel each other out. This is why so many people feel trapped. They're transmitting contradictory signals, requesting one reality while embodying another. And because the field is neutral, it simply mirrors back the dominant vibration, which typically consists of doubt, fear, or limitation. The science of effortless manifestation reveals that less is more, not because you do less, but because you align more completely. It's about eliminating contradictions, scattered frequencies, and interference. When your thoughts, emotions, and body move in unison, you're no longer divided against yourself, and the quantum field responds immediately to that unity. It doesn't require years of effort or thousands of repetitions. It doesn't need elaborate rituals performed to exhaustion. It requires coherence. This is why some people appear to manifest instantaneously. It's not luck, it's physics. Their internal state is so coherent, so unified, that the field has no choice but to reflect it back. To clarify this further, consider superposition in quantum mechanics. Before observation, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously, like a coin spinning in air that is both heads and tails at once. Only when an observer interacts does the wave collapse into a single outcome. If this understanding of quantum manifestation is awakening something within you, if you're sensing there are deeper layers to explore beyond what we can cover in this single exploration, I've created a complete guide that takes you through the entire spectrum of consciousness mastery. Beyond the frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery reveals the 9 master frequencies that govern reality creation, including advanced practices for becoming the broadcast itself, rather than seeking something outside yourself. It's linked in the pinned comment below. In your experience, you're continuously surrounded by infinite possible realities, all existing simultaneously in the quantum field. Which reality collapses depends entirely on the signal you're broadcasting. If your mind says yes while your heart says no, you're like an observer flickering between heads and tails, never fully collapsing anything. But when your entire being broadcasts one coherent yes, the field collapses instantly in your favor. This isn't wishful thinking. This is quantum law. What about effort? Here's the paradox. The harder you try from a fragmented state, the weaker your signal becomes. Consider someone desperately straining to fall asleep. The more effort they apply, the more elusive sleep becomes. Why? Because the effort itself signals, "I am not asleep." Similarly, effort born from lack signals, "I don't have this yet," which reinforces the reality of absence. Effortless manifestation doesn't mean avoiding action. It means your actions emerge naturally from coherence. Instead of struggling, you act with precision. Instead of forcing, you align. This is why when you simplify, when you quiet the interference, when you align your heart, brain, and body, results often appear seemingly miraculous. But they're not miracles. They're physics functioning as designed. Now let's bridge this with spirituality. Teachers like Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized the importance of feeling it real. They understood that thinking affirmations with your mind isn't sufficient. You must embody them emotionally and physically until your entire being vibrates as if they're already true. This is simply coherence expressed in spiritual language. When you feel wealthy, think wealthy, and carry yourself as wealthy, the field responds as though you are wealthy. When you think love, feel love, and embody love, the field organizes itself to bring love into your experience. The principle remains constant, whether expressed through metaphysics or quantum mechanics. Coherence creates reality. So the science of effortless manifestation isn't about mystical shortcuts. It's about alignment so profound that the distinction between science and spirituality dissolves. It's about recognizing that the universe isn't ignoring you. It's listening, but it only hears the clearest signal. And the clearest signal is always the simplest. Thought, feeling, and body in perfect harmony. This is why the path to manifestation isn't complexity, but coherence. The less fragmented you become, the more powerful you are. And once you master coherence, you'll discover that reality doesn't bend to effort, it bends to alignment. Now that you understand why coherence forms the foundation of manifestation, let's translate this into practical application. Because understanding this intellectually is one thing, but embodying it is what actually shifts timelines. Most people overcomplicate manifestation. They layer techniques, stack rituals, create endless visualization sequences. But often this very complexity keeps them stuck. The quantum field doesn't respond to noise. It responds to clarity. This is why the key to effortless manifestation isn't doing more, but making 3 fundamental yet powerful shifts in how you relate to reality. These 3 shifts might sound simple, but when practiced with genuine commitment, They collapse timelines faster than years of complicated effort. The first shift: choose precision over control. Much of the suffering people experience in manifestation stems from obsession with control. How will this happen? When will this happen? Who will bring this? These questions seem practical, but they're actually signals of doubt. In quantum physics, the how is already embedded in the field. Every possibility contains infinite pathways, and your role isn't to design those pathways, but to align with the outcome itself. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle shows that the more precisely you try to determine a particle's behavior, the more you disturb its natural state. The same applies to your desires. The more you micromanage, the more you destabilize the coherence that would naturally deliver them. Precision means holding the vision of what you want, not as a future possibility, but as an existing reality, then allowing the field to handle the details. The universe possesses infinitely more intelligence than your linear mind. The second shift: release chronological time. Time represents one of the greatest illusions sabotaging manifestation. When you say, "I need this by next month," or "this must happen before my birthday," you're constraining infinity with a calendar. But the quantum field doesn't operate on deadlines. It operates on readiness. In physics, superposition means all possibilities exist simultaneously until collapsed by observation. This means your desired reality already exists. It doesn't need construction, only selection. The timeline collapses the moment your internal state matches it, not when a calendar date arrives. The mystics always understood this. Neville Goddard taught, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He never added, "by Tuesday." He recognized that manifestation exists outside chronological time. Your readiness triggers manifestation, not your schedule. Releasing timeline fixation frees you from resistance and allows the field to deliver through the most direct path possible. The third shift: honor your initial alignment. Here's one of the most overlooked truths. The first moment you felt the spark of a desire, that was sufficient. That initial thought combined with emotion transmitted a complete quantum command to the field. Repetition, while useful for subconscious reprogramming, often signals doubt to the quantum. When you repeat your request dozens of times, you're not amplifying coherence. You're broadcasting uncertainty. Maybe the field didn't receive my signal. Maybe I need to try harder. But the quantum always receives the first alignment. The challenge isn't to keep requesting. The challenge is to maintain resonance with what you've already requested. Think of tuning a radio. You don't keep shouting at the station to broadcast your favorite song. You tune once and listen. If you keep adjusting the dial every few seconds, you lose the signal. Manifestation works identically. Trust that your initial alignment was received and invest your energy in maintaining resonance, not repeating requests. These three shifts, precision over control, timelessness over schedules, and trust over repetition, represent the essence of allowing manifestation to be effortless. What's fascinating is how this mirrors the scientific principle of resonance. In physics, when two systems vibrate at identical frequencies, they exchange energy effortlessly. No force is required. This is why an opera singer can shatter crystal by sustaining one note. The coherence between her voice and the crystal's natural frequency amplifies until the structure transforms. The same applies to you. When you stop forcing and start resonating, your reality transforms into alignment just as powerfully. Now let's make this interactive. Words aren't just communication, they're vibration. Every time you declare something with your complete being, you're programming your field. So I want you to do something right now. Type in the comments, not as a casual phrase, but as a command to the universe. I choose the path of ease. This isn't motivational rhetoric. It's a quantum declaration. By writing this, you're signaling that you've released complexity, abandoned control, and chosen resonance. You're telling the field, I trust my coherence, and the field always mirrors trust more rapidly than doubt. So take a breath. Let this settle. Simplicity isn't passivity, it's intelligence, quantum intelligence. And once you internalize these shifts, you'll witness how life begins arranging itself in ways you couldn't have strategized, planned, or forced. This is the power of choosing ease. Here's a truth that might revolutionize your understanding. The timeline you desire isn't something you're constructing. It already exists. In fact, you've already connected with it countless times. Those fleeting moments of certainty, those brief experiences where you felt, this is already real. The problem is that most people disconnect just as quickly as they connect. They experience the simplicity of alignment. Then the mind interrupts with, this can't be so effortless. And in that moment, the connection drops. The quantum field doesn't withhold from you. It simply mirrors your vibration in real time. The reality you want is present and available, but it responds the instant you decide to stay connected. Consider this perspective. Quantum mechanics reveals the multiverse of possibilities, where every outcome already exists in superposition. Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation suggested that each choice collapses into a branching universe. But from a consciousness perspective, this branching isn't external to you. It's within your field of awareness. You're not waiting for your dream to be created. You're simply aligning with the branch where it already exists. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Joe Dispenza describes tuning into a new frequency. Physicist David Bohm described reality as an implicate order, meaning everything is already enfolded, waiting to unfold when observed with coherence. Different language, identical truth. You're not manifesting something new. You're remembering what's already true. This remembering transforms everything. Because when you genuinely accept that your timeline is already chosen, the struggle dissolves. You stop asking, when will this happen? And instead affirm, this is happening. You stop strategizing endless methods to get there, and instead embody the energy of being there. This isn't passive fantasy, it's active resonance. The timeline doesn't require your force, it requires your permission, and permission arrives through surrender. Every time you release the need to control, you step closer to the frequency of your actualized self, the version of you that already inhabits the reality you're longing for. Why does this work so powerfully? Because coherence collapses probability into actuality. Imagine your energy field as a tuning fork. Every desire you've ever had is another fork vibrating in the quantum. When you align, you strike the fork of your desired timeline, and instantly the two resonate. You don't need to run around striking every fork in existence. You just need to sustain one vibration long enough for resonance to amplify. This process operates through what scientists call morphic resonance, the tendency for patterns to influence the formation of similar patterns across space and time. When you achieve coherent alignment with your desired reality, you create a morphic field that draws similar frequencies toward you. It's not that you're attracting things from outside yourself. You're activating a resonance pattern that was always present in the quantum matrix. Think of it like a hologram. In a hologram, every fragment contains the whole image. Similarly, every moment of authentic alignment contains the entire pattern of your desired reality. You don't need to maintain perfect coherence every second of every day. You just need to touch that frequency deeply enough that it begins to propagate through the field of your experience. But most people abandon the simplicity after moments. They say, "This feels good, but it can't be sufficient." And they begin doubting, complicating, over-practicing. In that moment, they stop resonating. The fork stops vibrating. The shift pauses. Not because the universe rejected them, but because they rejected simplicity. This is where many manifestation teachings actually create more obstacles than they remove. They turn what should be natural and effortless into elaborate systems of techniques and protocols. They make you believe that accessing your own creative power requires external validation, special knowledge, or complex procedures. But the truth is far simpler and far more empowering. Here's the profound paradox. The more effortless you allow it to be, the faster it manifests. This is why the mystics always taught detachment. Not detachment from desire itself, but detachment from control, from timelines, from effort. You're not meant to hunt reality like prey. You're meant to invite it by becoming the frequency it recognizes. It operates like gravity. You don't plead with gravity to pull an apple from a tree. You simply wait until the vibration within the fruit matches Earth's pull, and the apple falls. Your manifestation functions identically. The fruit is already heavy with possibility. The fall is inevitable once alignment is achieved. Now pause for a moment. Reflect on your experience. How many times did something finally manifest only after you stopped trying so intensely? That's not coincidence. That's quantum law. Every surrender was a micro-manifestation. Every moment you released control, the universe gained space to deliver. You were never lucky. You were aligned. Now that you recognize this pattern, you can choose it consciously. So let me share this truth with you. You're not creating your future. You're collapsing into it. Every doubt you hold creates delay. Every surrender you choose creates quantum acceleration. The timeline is already chosen. The only question is, will you continue vibrating with it, or will you disconnect? If something within you is resonating with this exploration, if you feel drawn to go deeper, to stabilize this frequency so it becomes not just a momentary insight, but a permanent way of being, then I invite you to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to this frequency. Subscribe to stay aligned with this understanding, to remain connected to this conversation that transforms everything about how you relate to reality. By now you can sense it, not just as an idea, but as an energy moving through your awareness. Something has clicked. Something has shifted. Because the truth is, quantum manifestation has never been about trying harder, chasing faster, or proving yourself worthy. It has always been about remembering. Remembering that your desired reality isn't waiting to be constructed in some future moment. It exists now, right here, vibrating in the quantum field, patiently waiting for you to say yes. And when you do, when you allow yourself to stop forcing and start resonating, everything begins to rearrange effortlessly. That's the hidden simplicity most people never believe. But you believe it, because you wouldn't be here exploring this if the field wasn't already calling you into alignment. The universe doesn't reward struggle. It doesn't respond to pleading or deadlines or endless repetition. It responds to coherence. And coherence happens the moment you stop scattering your energy in countless directions and finally embody one truth. I already am. That's the frequency of power. That's the frequency of surrender. And that's the frequency that collapses timelines. Right now, you're not just contemplating your future. You're choosing it with every breath, every thought, every I am you declare. And the beauty is, you don't need to try harder. You need to remember more deeply. So let this be your activation. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you feel called to, and simply whisper to yourself, "It is already complete." That sentence, felt in your body, spoken with conviction, becomes a quantum command. You are not waiting anymore. You are not hoping anymore. You are declaring resonance, and the moment you declare it, you step into it. That's the entire shift. That's why manifestation feels so mysterious to so many, because they complicate what is meant to be effortless. The quantum doesn't need your effort. It needs your coherence. Before we complete this journey together, take a moment and comment below with one word that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Not a casual word, but an energetic signature to the quantum field. This isn't just engagement, it's declaration. It's you announcing to the universe who you're choosing to be from this moment forward. Remember this, the field isn't testing you, it isn't withholding. It's responding right now to who you are being. You don't have to wait. You don't have to chase. You just have to become. Less effort, more resonance, less asking, more being. And when you live this way, life itself becomes a continuous quantum jump, moment by moment, reality by reality, until you realize you were never separate from what you desired. You were only unconscious to it, and now you are awake. What breakthrough or shift are you experiencing as you absorb this understanding? Share in the comments what's changing in your awareness. Your insights help strengthen the collective field we're creating together. So keep this frequency alive. Return to it daily. Speak it into existence and allow the universe to handle the rest. Because everything you want is already in motion, and it's moving faster than you think. If this exploration has awakened something within you, if you feel called to continue this conversation, then subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent. Because the more of us who embody this understanding, the more the world reflects this truth. Until our paths cross again, stay aligned, stay light, and never forget, you are not waiting for your reality. Your reality is waiting for you. Now, understanding quantum manifestation is one thing, but mastering the breath that transforms your cellular frequency is another level entirely. In the observer breath, breathe this way to become what you desire. You'll discover the specific breathing technique that literally rewrites your DNA to match your chosen reality, creating transformation at the most fundamental level of your being.